There he is, the party host, Farhan Lalji. Heard it was quite the banger the other night.
It was fabulous, and with these events, we do this media party every year on the Wednesday of Grey Cup week. And, generally we're pretty involved, right? Like Naylor and I do more than just put our name on it. Last year with the Lions, we met with the Grey Cup committee and we went and met with the venue and their managers and got sponsors. And this time about 2 months ago, I called Wade Miller and I said, hey, Wade, let's talk a bit about the media party. Let's get it going. Oh, it's all done. Well, no, man, I got these guys that want to, and it's all done. Don't worry about it. And it was. So we go to this barbecue place that's only been open for a year called Bell's Kitchen. And it was fantastic. Like I go to Texas and Kansas City and places like this for NFL, and I've never had barbecue like this. Usually we bring out nachos and wings and chicken strips. This was full on brisket, like barbecue chicken that would melt in your. Oh my God, you should have been there. That is reason alone for you to come on the road for Grey Cup, my friend.
No deal. It's not happening. I'm in Winnipeg Thursday though in hockey rinks.
You're also the sales guy. You're the guy who can make it happen. You control the money. You're not just the talking head.
I know. Got to play things close to my chest vest region. Farhan, guys, got to golf in this winter. But that's. I want to. Stu Johnson comes out with the comments today, and a lot of people are talking about it. And everyone's going to say, "Oh, you guys are just on side with the CFL, especially you, because you're TSN, because the big bad Americans are going to steal our game," which you and I have talked about. It's not the case. But he comes out with the comments that he should have said initially. DA says that's the learning coming from the corporate world.
Yeah, look, it is. But at the same time, right, like generally when you're in those positions, it doesn't save you a lot to say never, right? I mean, that's just, you don't know what's going to happen when you could be gone in 5 years. You don't know what it's going to look like. But it probably would have assuaged a lot of angst in the marketplace, especially in places like Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. I mean, and we're in Winnipeg and Saskatchewan's playing in it, so that's where the bulk of the media comes from, and that's where the biggest amount of pushback is, right? Like they're the two most passionate markets in the league. So, he probably spent 3/4 of his time answering rules-related questions, and there's a lot of other things to get to, right? So, he got it right today, and I think he checked a lot of boxes.
Yeah, and I guess, what was the mood in the room today? What was, was there a lot of anxiety or sort of were the fans in there kind of anxious, or was it a jovial mood? It's the Grey Cup.
Fans.
Well, there's no fans. Okay, sorry.
No, usually what happens is you have two separate events for the commissioner, right? Like you'll have your media event and then you'll have a separate fan event. And they didn't do the fan event. Now, I do know that there is an appearance that Stu's making at a restaurant at some point this week, but it's not necessarily being presented as the commissioner's state of the league to the fans. And I'll be honest with you, like some people will say, oh, well, he's chicken, he should be man enough and take it. No. Right? Like there's nothing good can come of that, given the angst that's around it, in my opinion. So if I were advising him, which I'm not, I would have said to avoid it because, you just never know when someone gets a little out of control and does something they shouldn't have, and then that becomes viral. Like you don't want that image. And, this thing is a hot button topic. So the fact that he didn't have a massive fan event, I think was smart.
Awards last night, what jumps out at you there?
Not really any surprises. I think I picked Devin Varasek as my top rookie. So I was surprised that Trey Vavel got both the rookie and the special teams award. I did pick him as my top special teams guy, but all the others kind of went according to plan. I know that Bo Levi Mitchell kind of shakes his head a bit as much as he respects Nathan Rourke. But, at the end of the day, when you look at the numbers and you add the running numbers to the passing numbers, all of which count, Nathan Rourke was clearly the most valuable player, the most outstanding player in this league. There really is no doubt about it, right? And if you're going to win the MOP, you're going to win the MOC. Matthew Betts, I thought was worthy, but, it really was a tale of two seasons for Betts and Julian Hauser on the other side for that award. I don't know that there was anyone else who had a really, really compelling case, like, let's say, Roland Milligan did a year ago. So, that part of it made sense, but Nathan's going to be the face of this league for a long, long time, and, it was the right selection to make, and, we'll see if he ever winds up getting into this big game at some point down the road.
Okay, here's a question. After, let's say, 12 games, Davis Alexander, who's better, him or Nathan Rourke after 12 games?
Well, like for me, I've said this: the only player close to Nathan Rourke in terms of talent, ability, all of it in this league is Davis Alexander. Like they are two at a different level in my mind. So, 12 games wasn't going to get it done for Davis this year, given Nathan's numbers. Close to 6,000 yards of offense, 41 touchdowns combined. Those are pretty special numbers. And he played two less games, right? So I know people say, well, Davis led the league in passing. Well, he kind of didn't, because on a per-game basis, not Davis, Bo, on a per-game basis, Nathan had that too, right? So, and it's not like the Lions missed the playoffs, right? Like Bo did a year ago. They did host a playoff game, so I thought it made sense. And, Davis wasn't going to be able to get that done with 12 games this year.
Yeah, but sorry, what I was asking is when you go back to Nathan after 12 games and his trajectory, where he was going, and then now we're talking about Davis, who do you think is in a better spot?
You mean you talk about in the future, like next year and beyond?
Like, remember Nathan after 12 games? We were hyping him. It was great. He was great. He had some losses under his belt. I don't think there was this much hype around Nathan as there is Davis.
Maybe. I mean, at that point, 12 games into it, Davis was hurt at that point, right? I mean, he missed about half the season. But early in the year, right, like before he got hurt, this was Davis Alexander's award to lose, right? I mean, like the Owls were two different teams with and without Davis, and his numbers were outstanding. We know his win-loss record, right? Like he's never lost a game. We all know the history and the math around that. So, you keep anything like that up, the wins and losses at some point are going to outweigh the statistics. And Davis Alexander had both of those through the first, 6 or 7 weeks of the season before he got hurt. So it was there for him, and it will be again, right? I mean, it's going to be fun. The fact that these two quarterbacks are young, they're still in their 20s, it's going to be fun watching these guys. And for me, I know people in Sask will say, oh, well, you're a homer, this and that. Like, I want Trevor Harris to win this Grey Cup. Right? Like, I got a lot of time for Trevor Harris. He is a good dude. He's playing football at a very high level at an advanced age, and I don't want Trevor Harris to be the best to never win one. But there was the part of me that thought Nathan and Davis in the big game, knowing they're going to run this league for a while, as the top two quarterbacks, that would have been a cool storyline and a cool matchup as well. But, I've gone back and forth in my picks. Go ahead.
Maybe I'll pose it like this. 2021, Nathan Rourke, is he better than 2025 Davis Alexander?
Well, 2022 Nathan Rourke, prior to the injury, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was better. Right?
Okay.
Like, I mean, that, and I think his season right now is very close to what he did in 2022. So, yeah, I mean, he processes the game so well. They both have tremendous arm talent. They both have, they're great with their legs, and they both have charisma and the ability to lead, right? Nathan didn't have that in 2022. He does now. So I think we're splitting hairs on him, but I would probably give Nathan the edge, based on all of that.
Okay.
So, obviously you mentioned it would have been intriguing to have both Nathan and Davis in the game. With them both in the Grey Cup City, though, are you seeing that they're becoming the face of the league? Is there, the fan desire to see them, media requests, etc.? Is that sort of turning, or is it, back to the stalwarts and who's in the game? Like, are you seeing that change? It's kind of, for a guy like me who's been a fan for a long time, it was almost worrisome for a point where who's going to be the next stable of quarterbacks, and now all of a sudden it seems like we have these two guys. Does it feel like that in Winnipeg?
Yeah, I think it does, right? I mean, Davis has got an entirely different story going into this game because everybody wants to know how healthy he is, and his health will determine who wins this Grey Cup. I'm hedging my pick because of Davis's hamstring. And there was a lot of media requests for Nathan throughout the day, on Wednesday, right, when he got in the day before, when those guys were made available. Then after he got both awards, and as well today. I think he flies back today. I don't think he's – actually, no, let me take that back. He flies back tomorrow evening. So he's been busy. We're going to have him on our Grey Cup Saturday show tomorrow, so he's making appearances on behalf of the league, and that's good, right? I believe he's the one true superstar in this league, right? To go back to Ed Hervey's comments, and it's nice to have players that can transcend their markets, because this league is lacking that, right? I mean, peak Bo Levi Mitchell a decade ago and peak Mike Riley a decade ago could be those guys. They're not now. And, so the fact that Nathan is that guy, And certainly his comments this year about the rule changes and everything probably endeared him to a lot of people. And Davis, just with his style and, the white tank tops and, all of it, like he's slowly starting to escape beyond just his market. And people around the league are starting to know who he is. And I think that's a real positive for the league when players can extend beyond their markets.
How do you really think that hamstring is? Obviously, they're saying the right things. Oh, treatment's gone well. He's going up and down the field and things are good. How do you think it really is?
I don't know. Like, he looked fine today, but he wasn't scrambling around, right? Like, running straight ahead is one thing. Then scrambling is another thing. Then having to do it in game suddenly, right? Where it's not just, okay, you're going to back up and then you're just going to roll out to the right, maybe test that a little bit in a practice setting. No. You've got to stick your foot in the ground and jump cut to try to get out. And I can only imagine Corey Mace's game plan. Our big part of it early in the game is to create inside pressure, additional blitzes, and force Davis to scramble outside. Not edge pressure that allows him to comfortably step up. I want him to not just force him outside. I want to force him to the right so that left hamstring gets strained, right, and really tested. So, there's nothing they can do in practice to tell me that we know for sure. They know he's hurt. They know he's not 100%, but can he be close enough for 60 minutes? I have my doubts.
I talked to a guy this morning. I said, you got to make a move. And you got to make a move out. So...
Yeah, and then you got to see if he can. So if it is hampering him and he's not able to do the scrabbling, it's such a big part of his game. Now all of a sudden, can he beat you from the pocket? Like, is he the guy who can sit back there and beat you from the pocket for a full game? And if that part of his game is hampered at all, it'll be a very interesting thing to watch for the first quarter for sure.
Well, look, make no mistake, Davis Alexander has arm talent, right? Like, he doesn't just have to play like a man possessed and scramble around and do all of that. He's got arm talent. But, if you're going to keep him in the pocket the whole time, he's got to get through multiple progressions. Can he do that? Or, will Jason Moss kind of revert back to a bit of a Cody Fajardo offense where it's just like all screens and everything within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage and just get the ball out of his hands really, really quickly so that those blitzes and those early attempts by Saskatchewan to make him run aren't a factor. So I don't know yet whether or not he can get through 4 progressions like a Nathan Rourke can. I'm not saying he can't. I just haven't seen it as much because he's not needed it. Well, if depending on how Saskatchewan plays, they're going to want to find that out as well. But this guy's got the arm to make every throw from the pocket. He just doesn't have to play off platform.
All right, Coach, I need your coaching hat on here. You're with Noel Thorpe. You guys are talking things over. What are you playing? More man, more zone? How much are you mixing it up?
You have to mix it up because Trevor Harris has seen all of it, right? And he knows what the base core and structure of Noel Thorpe's defense is. Like, he knows where to go with the football. And the fact that he gets the ball out of his hands so quickly makes him really difficult to blitz effectively. So you're going to drop out a lot. But you've got to drop, like, number one, on first down, you've got to keep guys in because you got to deal with AJ Ouellette. But then after that, you've just got to give him different zone looks, knowing that it's not going to be a heavy dose of blitz because you won't get to him anyway. But, find 3 or 4 different coverages, show this, get into that, and just try to change the picture because there isn't much that Trevor Harris hasn't seen yet.
Quick question on Trevor Harris, too. I felt last week in the first half, he really was staring down his first read, which isn't him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to chalk that up to just the pressure of the moment. Are you feeling, a little bit of relief now that he's there and more focus after getting through the West Final? Or, should we be looking at someone who's maybe going to squeeze the ball a little bit, trying to finally get that Grey Cup?
Yeah, the one thing with Trevor, I think at this stage of his career, he truly isn't making it about him. Like, he loves this team. He loves this organization. Like, it's real. So while everybody else might want to win it for him, he wants to win it for everybody. So I don't think there's going to be that thing from Trevor where he's trying to make a statement and show that he's going to get his. But I do think, to your point, that getting through the first half of that Western Final, that was a big deal because he was off. Like, he was totally off. And the fact that the Lions had 3 of their 4 drops in the first half and couldn't really take advantage of a struggling Trevor Harris was as big a factor in that game as Corey Mace's decisions and BC not being able to get a first down and all of those kinds of things. So I do think there's a level of relief that he just got through it. But in terms of this game, I think you're going to see the most team-friendly version of a pretty team-friendly guy. Like, he will get the ball to the right guys at the right time and give you the best possible opportunity to win this game for Saskatchewan.
All right, 30 seconds. We're a Sports Select show here, so it has now Montreal. It was 4 yesterday, -3.5. Is this game going to come down to a field goal?
Yes, and I think Saskatchewan's going to win. And look, before the season started, I had Montreal beating Saskatchewan in the Grey Cup. Throughout the playoffs, including last week, I said Montreal, Saskatchewan are going to advance. Montreal's going to win. But now, because of that hamstring, I'm picking Trevor Harris and the Riders.
Okay. If I show up tomorrow, I want some of them leftovers from that barbecue. Just keep that in the fridge.
Done.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good one. Talk to you next week, Farhan.
Thanks, Farhan.
See you, boys.